Let's go.
Oh my God, the quarterback is toast. Hit it again. Hit it again.
Let's go.
Hit it again. Hit it again. Oh my God, the quarterback is toast. Hit it again.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of the Frisco Report. Today, we're talking about the Cowboys kickoff to OTAs. We've got a lot of nuggets and news to hit on the Cowboys 2022 OTAs. Mike, what's going on, bro?
Joe, it's been a long time, brother. Hope all is well with you. We're out of school here. Kids are in their own little daycare. They do all kinds of activities. So we're just massaging that. We'll be in Texas on Friday. Shout out to Abilene, Texas, and then we'll be over there in Tyler, Texas, to finish out the rest of our vacation. So looking forward to that.
That's good, man. It's always good to be in Texas.
Always.
So, yeah, man. So, Cowboys, they finished the rookie OTAs. Now we're on to the next level of the OTAs. And, this is the building blocks for the Cowboys 2022 season, Mike. So, it all starts here. Building the camaraderie, inserting, your new free agent signings, your vets, rookies, this sorts of things, and getting everything in order, to lead up to minicamp and then training camp, preseason, and then off we go. So, Mike, OTAs, they're in the house. Cowboys spent the day here indoors, getting in, getting into the groove of things, and it's just it's good to have the OTAs, back in action, bro. So got the Cowboys out here, at the Star Frisco, getting organized, here with the team, with the coaches. We'll highlight a couple of our players here that we got here with our insider cameraman here, James Smith. And, he's able to get these for us. So we're going to go through this here. Obviously, running back here, Mike. Let's talk about a little bit of the backup running back position, right? So we got Jaquan here. And how do you feel about, the impact as far as what we have behind Zeke and Tony Pollard, Mike?
It's concerning. Let's be real here. You talk about how dynamic Zeke and Pollard is at the running back position. And when you dip into the third tier of your roster to the running back, let's say Zeke goes down, somebody has to carry that load. Pollard could probably carry the other one half. Who's going to carry the other half? Can Hardy carry the other half if something was to happen to Zeke, or if something was to happen to Pollard? I talked about them not addressing the running back position. You had Hassan there. You had some other running backs, and they didn't take it, right? They went another direction. No knock on the draft. I loved how the draft played out for the Dallas Cowboys. Running back, though, was something I was looking forward to getting, and they didn't get it. So I'm not as big on the running back depth as I am as probably most people.
Yeah. I think the competition will be good. Jaquan Hardy, he'll be in the mix, obviously. Got a lot of people in there. You got Rico Dowdle coming back from hip surgery. All right, so guys real beat up. All right. So the Cowboys were looking at Hassan, like Mike mentioned there. So we'll see what they shake out, man. Hopefully, I think the goal here is to get that number 3, you find that number 3. I think they're still looking for that number 3 who can who can maybe take on a bigger role in 2023. Right now, I don't think we have that person on this roster, so might roll with what we got. Another insider picture here from our insider photographer James Smith. Dak Prescott, Mike, here in the red here. This is the the signature red jersey that Mike McCarthy brought over from the Packers and from San Francisco. So continuing the tradition here with Cowboys. You don't touch the quarterback, right? So yeah, we got Dak Prescott out here slinging the ball around. From all accounts, I'm hearing that he's looking a lot looser, a lot more flexible out here. Doesn't look as stiff as last year, Mike. What's your take on that when you hear about, how Dak is looking out here as far as mobility, not looking as stiff and this sorts of things?
No, you talk about the ankle surgery that he had. He had two ankle surgeries. He called it the wishbone on the ankle, right? So he was going to look a little stiff last year. This year, he's without two offensive starters in Lyle Collins and Connor Williams. He's without Amari Cooper. He got a rookie tight end in Jake Ferguson. So, with him not having any lingering injuries or anything of that matter, from head to toe, Joe, I like it. It lets things build up for rookies like Jake Ferguson, for a newcomer like James Washington or Tolbert. So it's good to get that repetition in because this is the second year of this big payday. And, the microscope with Dak Prescott has to be bigger, Joe. The microscope has to be bigger. You have to zoom in on Dak and not just look at stat line. You have to look at, is he taking sacks like he did against the 49ers? Is he not as accurate like he was against the Broncos, against the Raiders, right? So the microscope has to be a lot bigger than what it has been in previous years for Dak Prescott. It's time to hold the feet to the fire, Joe.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of eyes on the offense. You talk about McCarthy, Kellen Moore, and Dak Prescott is definitely part of that equation. It's a three-headed monster, and we got to see the improvement. But I love the reports of Dak Prescott showing more flexibility, more mobility, and it looks like he's ready to rock and roll. So that's good news here. Um, Israel Makwamu, number 24 here. This was Kelvin Joseph's number here. So we're getting a new look here. Number 24, Israel Makwamu, the safety. Year 2. Okay. They've brought in, some guys here to compete in that safety role. Some people are real high on these undrafted guys. I'm not. You gotta prove it to me first. There's a reason why these guys go undrafted. Yeah, maybe you'll find a gem or whatever, right, Mike? But Israel Makwamu, year 2, how do you think he fits into this team here this year, Mike?
Yeah, I want to see his transition. When they drafted him on the draft call, he said, you got the best corner in the draft. And he woke up the next day and found out he was going to play safety, Joe. So, that's a transition for him. I want to see not only in training camp, shorts, T-shirts, helmets, fantastic. But I want to see Makwamu when the lights are on in preseason. What can you do for me? Like Simi Fujoko, he looked great until the lights turned on, right? Makwamu, I want to see him. He's going to get the reps. Believe it or not, Malik Hooker, he might get some reps. J-Ron Curse will probably be like a starter and sit most of the preseason. You only get 3 this year. Makwamu, you're going to get a chance to shine, buddy. And I'm excited to see this guy.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head, Mike. You hit it right on the head with Hooker and Curse. They're going to get their vet time off, especially in the preseason, like you said. And he's gonna get that ability, that option to really make a case for himself on this roster. So good to see him out there. Now here is Kelvin Joseph now wearing the number 1 jersey. So shout out to photographer James Smith getting us this insider pictures from inside the Star in Frisco, Mike. So Kelvin Joseph here, number 1. It's good to see him out here, Mike. Right? We didn't want to see him, missing time on the side, trying to get in shape. None of this crap. Looks like he maybe he got scared shook or whatever, scared straight, and he's here, man. He looks like he's locked in here in the drills here, Mike. What's your take on Kelvin Joseph impact here from the OTAs into the season?
Going into this offseason, he was the one that made a lot of noise, Joe. I don't trust Kelvin Joseph. I mean, look at Randy Gregory's situation, suspension after suspension. This guy, going into his second year, was involved in a murder case. Was it a wake-up call? Can he fix it? He didn't pull the trigger. If he did, he'd be in jail. There's 2 suspects in jail. But, my mom always say, show me your friends and I'll tell you your future, right? Kelvin Joseph, you got to pick your friends wisely. If not, that one that's on your jersey means 1 year left in the NFL.
Yeah, no, that's well said, Mike. That's well said. If we always say it how it is here, guys. You know that, and I'm 100% with Mike on that. I definitely wish him the best because he's a second round pick, right? So you want your second round picks to contribute, and we don't want to go through another Randy Gregory where it's a high pick, you're barely getting to play him, suspensions, all this knucklehead crap. So hopefully he did get scared straight, but it's very good to see him out here on the field. This is exciting as far as on the field for Kelvin Joseph. So hopefully this is the building blocks. Like I said, the OTAs and these early sessions are the building blocks of what your team is going to be. So good to see him out there. Indeed, I love it. Okay, now will he be able to escape the wrath of the commissioner? That's another story here.
Absolutely not. He's getting suspended.
Yeah, so that's another story there. We got our boy here, the new number 1 receiver, CeeDee Lamb, bro. What you're hearing here early on is they're going to take him off the return game, which I love that. This team, they're going to give that role to somebody, but it's not going to be CeeDee Lamb. I like hearing those reports indeed very much because you can't, that would be like putting Amari Cooper, last year on punt returns and crossing your fingers. So, yeah, I'm glad he's out of that business, man. But here he is, man. Number 88, your new number 1 receiver. Probably going to be on the outside now, but definitely, if Kellen Moore can scheme him up right, Mike, he could have an explosive year or a mediocre year. I kind of think that's where this is going to be. I think it's very contingent on the ability of Kellen Moore to scheme him up, Mike.
No, and that's one thing Kellen Moore, that's where his biggest flaw is scheming, right? I mean, you look, if he could scheme the way he did with Cooper Rush and Amari Cooper in that Vikings game when Tony Romo was injured and out, Kellen Moore would be a head coach right now. But the inconsistencies are there. He might scheme CeeDee Lamb for the first 6 weeks, Joe, but after that, we could not see CeeDee Lamb for a while. CeeDee Lamb, I don't think, recorded a touchdown in 6 consecutive football games. You can't scheme. Kellen Moore has to do better than that. I'm looking for CeeDee Lamb to make a huge leap. This is year 3. He has a lot of time with Dak. The narrative last year was he don't have a lot of time with Dak. He don't have a lot of time with Dak. The drop into footballs was unnecessary. You're a pro. You're a first-round pick. You got to catch those footballs. I don't want to see balls on the ground and hands clapping and a head shake because whenever you catch it, you do that. I want to see more of this, CeeDee Lamb. And, it's a big year for him. It really is.
I love that. I love that. I love that take because it's spot on. You know what I mean? It's going to be either or. Now, what I'm hoping is that Mike McCarthy does have a bigger influence on this call sheet. Maybe, calling the plays and definitely game planning. You know what I mean? If we're talking about scheming, I hope that, that Mike McCarthy has a bigger role in that. I think if he does, we'll see that early and we'll see it consistently. Like you hit it on the head, Mike, and you called it last season, and started out hot, and the offense was the one unit that kind of fizzled, and we really saw it in the 49er playoff game. Okay, so we'll see what he does here, but good to see our boy here, CeeDee Lamb, number 88 here, getting it done here in OTAs. Number 2, Jordan Lewis. All right. So Jordan Lewis has transitioned to number 2, you know. So here he is, out here with the other vets and getting in. And the competition will be there for Jordan Lewis, Mike. Now, where do you think the biggest competition for Jordan Lewis is going to come in these OTAs and mini camps and training camp, Mike?
Yeah, the competition, is going to be with Anthony Brown. It's going to be with Kelvin Joseph. There another corner that I'm missing?
Deron Bland.
Well, Deron Bland. I knew we drafted him. I could not think of his dang name. Thank you. Deron Bland, I don't know if he'll make a immediate impact, but Jordan Lewis, he can easily take that number 2 corner of E. And now, Joe, I really mean this. He could really take number 2 CB all day long. The only problem with Jordan Lewis, Joe, is he tames the dog that's in him. When Jordan Lewis is hot, he's probably the best corner on the football field. But he gets in his own mind, and you see the bad Jordan Lewis, right? But when Jordan Lewis is on fire and he's on cue and he's on point and he's where he's supposed to be and he's playing physical, he's playing tough, he's the best corner on the football field. I will argue with anybody. But when he's in his own head, Joe, and the dog ain't biting. The dog's just barking. It's all for nothing. So Jordan Lewis is in control of his own destiny here. Can he let the dog out 24/7 and not tame the animal that I know that he can be?
Yeah, and that's true. Because you see, I mean, you go back to some of his signature games, like the New Orleans game. I think this is the one that really sticks up in my mind. But they're few and far between, right? Like he'll stack an awesome game like that, and he'll kind of disappear. Or in some cases, he got benched there for a little bit, during his career here with the Cowboys. So I think this is a good year for him. Definitely provides good depth for the Cowboys. I think he'll be an impact player. He does have that dog mentality, but he's got to let it out. Like you said, Mike. He can't come out here and be a little finesse and disappear in some of these games. So
finesse.
I'm with you on that, Mike.
Great word, finesse.
Here's our favorite wide receiver hype up. Last year, and it's already bleeding into this year. Let's talk about it. Simi Fujoko. Cowboys usually carry 5 receivers, 6 at the very most, right? So Simi Fujoko. Where does he land on this roster? Does he make the team? What does he need to do? What does he need to show you, Mike, to make a push for one of these final spots?
Consistency, reliability, dependability. You can catch footballs and run the best crisp routes in shorts and shoulder pads, and the NFL is so wussified that there's no contact right now. So if I see any clip of Simi Fujoko running a route and nobody's around him, I'm gonna block you. It's as simple as that. Because when you put somebody in front of him, he's I don't see nothing special with this guy. I don't see anything special. I'll be shocked if he makes the team, Joe. Shocked.
Yeah. It's going to be an uphill battle. I think that, it's going to be hard. I think for him to make the team, it's going to either be where they carry an extra receiver, like I said, like a 6th receiver, or somebody gets dinged up, or does he beat out somebody like Noah Brown? I think Noah Brown is probably number 5 right now. You got
I agree.
Right? You got Lamb, you got Tolbert, you got Washington. And then, 4th and 5th receivers, right? So
Gallup.
Gallup is definitely there. Can't forget about Gallup. Maybe him being, maybe that's where he gets in. Maybe that with Gallup being on short-term IR to start the season or whatever it's going to be. That maybe they carry him, for just a couple of weeks, and then when Gallup comes back, the sacrificial lamb is there. Who will be that sacrificial lamb wide receiver? It's going to be somebody, I think. So we'll see with Fujoko. Coming out of Stanford, he was raw. And we saw that. You know what I mean? He was raw. Now I do like him more than Vasher. I will say that. You know what I mean? You know, if I'm looking for that number 5 receiver, I'm looking at Fujoko to be that guy. I don't really like some of the other guys that we have, you know, underneath them, you know. But we'll see what it is, you know. Did he put in the work? You know, it's really for wide receivers. They got to work a lot harder than some of these other positional groups because it's so competitive, right? And it's you know, if you don't make it on special teams, you just don't make the team, you know. So would they utilize him in the return game? That might be where they take a look at him. And from what I've read, they are looking at him. They're looking at Tolbert. So you know, maybe he sneaks in that way, Mike.
Tony Pollard needs to be in the return game, period. That was his bread and butter at Memphis. Quit being stubborn, Bones Fossil.
I agree. The rookie all pro, number 11. We got our insider shot here. I love this picture of Micah Parsons here running the drills here. You see some of the other guys in the background here. Obviously, you got Dorrance Armstrong. You got LVE, the Wolf Hunter. Okay. Basham, I think, is over there as well. But Mike, number 11, how big is this year 2 going to be for Micah Parsons?
The sky's the limit for this guy, dude. I mean, Joe, big shout out to the Frisco Report, man, because we've been asking and praying to the football gods for somebody with the mindset of Micah Parsons. Really, we have. The dog, the animal, the energy, the tempo, everything he brings is what Joe and I have been begging for. I light candles to the football gods, and they delivered with number 11, Micah Parsons out of Penn State, all right? I know we have number 11 on defense, and he could be disruptive. He can cause sacks. He can cause fumbles. I want this guy to get a pick in his year 2. He didn't get one last year. Get me a pick, and I want his first pick to be a pick 6 to the house, baby, because he deserves it. Micah Parsons, I can't wait to see year 2.
I love it, man. It's getting me pumped up because first game of the year last year, Tom Brady. I know that he wants to get him, and I think he's gonna get him in year 2, Mike. I can't wait for that moment. I cannot wait for that moment when Parsons sacks the crap out of Tom Brady and gets them off the field 3 and out. All right, so yeah, man, I'm super pumped about him, man. I feel that he's, I don't know, man. He feels like he's the new face of the Cowboys, man. He's very charismatic. You know, you see him all around town at the hockey games, Mavs games, you know, baseball games with the rain. I mean, he's everywhere, right? So, you know, and I think he's handling everything really well, you know. So taking on that role, I think he's going to be that leader of that defense. You know what I mean? I don't think it's D-Law. You know, with all due respect, I think D-Law obviously has some leadership characteristics, but I think it's going to run through Parsons this season and, you know, definitely for the future, Mike.
Joe, I'm going to be honest with you. I never seen, and I've been around these players pretty close, all right, training camps and OTAs and things of this sort. I've never viewed DeMarcus Lawrence as a leader. Never. He could be a mentor, but he's not a leader. Definitely not a leader.
And that's what the team has been missing here defensively, you know. I know years ago, you know, whenever Ray Lewis was maybe available at one point, years ago, everybody wanted him here because of the leadership. I think you have that type of guy, you know, that transformative linebacker in Micah Parsons. He is this era's Ray Lewis, in my opinion. Is a guy that can change the game, that can give the momentum. You know, that's Micah Parsons. And I'm pumped for him, bro. I just can't wait to see him. I love seeing him out here at the Star here and this sorts of thing. Mike, another insider shot here from our photographer, James Smith. We got Dalton Schultz. You know what I mean? A lot of fans, a lot of creators just don't like him because he blocks them for whatever reason. I'm not blocked. Thankfully I can say that. I've been a fan of Schultz, man. I'll be honest. Like my takes are always positive, and I think that a lot of people say that they're not going to bring him back. They're this and that. We signed Ferguson, so you can get rid of him. For me, I just go back to how the Cowboys think. How they process this roster, and to me, they see Romo and Witten, and they see Dak and Schultz. I think that's what they see. They're going to work out a deal here. And I think he'll be back. And it's a good thing to have. I would love Ferguson and Schultz on this team for a couple of years. I mean, that would be my dream scenario. I don't want to lose Schultz. This is Dak Prescott's go-to guy. He knows where to be, and Dak gets him the ball. You know what I mean? So Mike, what's your thoughts on Schultz here? In your opinion here, as we look at him at the star here at OTAs.
I got one question for you. How long has Schultz been in the Dallas Cowboy uniform?
He came in the league here with LVE, same draft class.
So 2018. Okay, let me break this down for you guys who is not a big Dalton Schultz believer. I knew the answer. I just wanted someone like Joe to spit that fire out for you. Okay, his first touchdown was in 2020. He's been in the league since 2018. His first touchdown was in 2020 against the Atlanta Falcons. Everybody remembers the watermelon kick, right? That was Dalton's first career touchdown. Okay, last year, breakout year. You mean to tell me when you get this guy a chance from Stanford, who only had 9 balls thrown to him at Stanford, and he caught all 9 footballs, and you're going to knock him on his blocking when he's went from 2020 to a major progress in 2021 to now a franchise tag? This guy is just getting started. If you want to crap on Dalton Schultz, be my guest and wear your I'm a dumbass hat at the end of his career, because this guy is going to shine.
Yeah, it is, man. It's just, it's football IQ, man. He's solid. You know what I mean? Obviously, not everybody's going to be Kittle. Not everybody's going to be, these types of guys. But Schultz, at the end of the day, he's that hatch, man. Mr. Reliability. Mike, this is a great one here, man. Jonathan Ngatabe, right? Out of Texas Tech, the undrafted kicker, considered Mr. Clutch there at Texas Tech. He has swag, right? I mean, it's amazing the players that the Cowboys have really brought in here with their draft class, undrafted guys. Got a lot of guys that have this high confidence swag to them, and that includes the kicker here, and they got rid of Nagar. They cut him loose here pretty recently, and here's our first look at the kicker who I myself, Mike. I think this is kicker one. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think this is your kicker going into the season, unless he looks bad here, Mike. But what's your thought on getting a new kicker here finally?
You know what's scary, Joe, is if that guy didn't sign with the Dolphins, Cowboys would have signed him back. I've already forgot his name. That's how much I wanted him out of here. What was our Greg the Leg?
Peg leg, yeah.
Right? The Cowboys were going to sign him back. And he was like, I'm just going to go to Miami to Chuck cut me. You know how scary that is? Bring somebody in here and give him a chance. I don't want no Brett Maher 70-yard field goal kicker in here. I want somebody that you could put on the to make a 55-yard. Give me a Dan Bailey, dang it. I'm going to put it as simple as that. Give me a Dan Bailey. I don't need a Brett Maher who can kick it 100 yards. I don't need a guy with the nickname and Greg the Leg. Give me a Dan Bailey, and I'll be okay. Give me a Justin Tucker, and I'll be okay. Just give me the Atlanta Falcons kicker. I don't know his name, but I heard he's pretty good. I just want a consistent kicker who don't mix extra points. So bring it on.
The Falcons kicker, I think, is Young Ho or something like that. Dude, yeah, I'm excited, man. I don't know. And most of the times, who cares about the kickers? But man, these games nowadays in the NFL,
who cares about the kicker?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most of the time, most people will have that thought. But with the Cowboys, it's always down to the nitty gritty. You gotta have a kicker here, right? Um, and we've seen some of these kickers, have really bailed out some of these teams. I mean, we saw what the kicker did for Cincinnati there, got them to the playoffs, right? So, if it takes a kicker to kick a couple times to win the game, if you have one, you can do it. But if you have a guy who's missing every other kick, you're in trouble, man. So I like the prospect here of finally getting in some new blood here, a young cat here, and he's definitely getting his shot here, Mike. I'm excited about this. All right.
Yes.
Another look here. We're looking at DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously here. Number 90, D-Law. All right. So, you talked about this earlier, Mike, about, the safeties, right? You talk about Curse and Hooker probably going to not see much time in the preseason and this sort of thing. I think D-Law probably is definitely going to be in that category too. So, I think this is going to open the door for, the younger guys back there, whether it's Golston, Sam Williams, and these other guys that we have on the roster, Dante Fowler. I think Fowler is going to get some playing time, because we got to see it. You know what I mean? We got to see it. So, what's your take here on DeMarcus Lawrence? Redid his contract, right, to stay with the Cowboys. You know what? I think a lot of us I know myself, I'm not sure about you, Mike, but I thought this was like he was going to be out of here. But he redid that contract here, took a little bit of a pay cut or whatever. And how integral of a piece is DeMarcus Lawrence going to be for the Cowboys' 2022 success, Mike?
It's so crazy because right here on the Frisco Report, Joe, we talked about who would you rather have, Tank or Gregory? We talked about that.
Yeah.
And because we talked about there's no way you can have both.
Right.
But the way we almost had both but didn't have both blows my mind. And this guy is still here wearing a star on his helmet. Now, when I said he don't have any leadership skills, don't mean I was knocking what he provides to the football field. I know people are screaming for sacks when it comes to DeMarcus Lawrence. But the effort, the motor, the energy, you look at what he did when he was available and healthy, forcing fumbles, stopping the run, running down running backs. That stuff ain't easy in the National Football League. He is the best run defender on this football team, hands down. And I'm telling you, if he can stay healthy, he might not get double-digit sacks. He might get 6 to 8. I think he's at the tail end of his career. I'll be shocked if he gets 10 sacks. But I can see him getting 8. If he can stay healthy, I can see him getting 8. But where he benefits you is in the running game, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm glad we found a way to keep him. And yeah, man, we definitely that was a great discussion we had because, we knew that it was going to probably be one. And they almost got both, but Cowboys front office did their front office thing that they do. So that's that there. But yeah, I love that there. Yeah. This is a inside shot here. Ryan Nall, a fullback. He'll be competing with. I just find it this is going to be an uphill battle for Nall and even what's our other boy? Who's the other running back that we had? The other fullback, Mike. The other big boy.
We don't keep many.
Yeah, we don't keep many. Now they did bring him here, and there is
McGovern played more fullback than a fullback did.
No, that's true, man. That's very true, and that role might still be there for him. So yeah, this is just a picture right now. Former Bear, and I want to say there's a connection there somehow. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think I think it was through Quinn or we scouted him at one time. Oh, I think we had him in here as a 30 visit or some crap or like a couple of draft classes ago or something like that. There was draft interest in there, so we're gonna take a look at him, Mike. But fullback, let's just touch on that real quick. What is your take on the fullback position here in Dallas? Are we gonna keep one or we're not?
We're not going to keep one. The fullback position is a lame duck. I don't know why they have one. I honestly don't. They're not going to keep a fullback on this roster. I mean, they more offensive linemen had more snaps than actual fullback for the Cowboys offense last year. So Ryan Noel, I think he might be able to play special teams. There's not a lot of stuff there that gets you all giddy and happy. Maybe that's what it is. Special teams, I have no idea, but you won't see Zeke running behind a fullback anytime soon.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. And I think it was Nick Ralston is the other fullback I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's Ross, the big dude, man. The dude has arms like John Cena.
Yeah, so it'll be between these two guys, and maybe one of them makes it on special teams. I think that's the only way one of them makes it onto the team here, Mike. But yeah, fullback I think is a thing of extinction here, yeah, especially around the NFL. Here's one of our insider shots here of the coaches. We got our running back Skip Pete here, and Mike McCarthy here. Looking on to the quarterbacks here, Will Grier. I think a lot of people forgot we had him on the team here, but he's here in the backup. Can he beat out DiNucci? You know what I mean? Surely this is DiNucci's last year. And do they even carry three quarterbacks, Mike? I just don't see them carrying three quarterbacks. But Mike, what's your take on the DiNucci, Will Grier, these guys?
The DiNucci's Mike McCarthy's dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we all seen the Hard Knocks and Mike McCarthy really vouching for DiNucci Dookie is what I called them last year. But Will Grier, it's funny you talk about Will Grier beating out Ben DiNucci, but I'm gonna be honest, I can see Will Grier beating out Cooper Rush. Seriously. He has veteran. He's been in the league a long time. I can see him beating out Cooper Rush. I think Will Grier might be my pet cat during this whole offseason.
Interesting indeed. I think that's gonna be a fun little thing to watch. And they're definitely gonna get their shot. You know what I mean? Especially that last game. I don't expect Dak to play that last game, that last preseason game at all. So we might see a good dosage of DiNucci versus Cooper versus Grier for that number 2. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be a good little camp battle to watch as we progress. The Golden Boy, Kellen Moore. This is our insider shot. James Smith, photographer. This here, Mike, didn't get the job at Miami. A lot of fans were crossing the finger. How big of a year is this for Kellen Moore?
I don't know. It all depends on Mike McCarthy and if he's going to step up and hold some feet to the fire because, Mike McCarthy, he brags about Montana and Favre and Aaron Rodgers and having this great offense and this offensive strategy. And it's already been 2 years where he's sat on a sideline and watched Kellen Moore call and game plan plays. And yes, number 1 offense, fantastic. But the inconsistencies of that offense, when we step on a football field, what playoff caliber defense is scared of us? Seriously, because of this guy right here, Kellen Moore. He's generic. He's great value. He's garbage, man. And I don't understand why this team allows this inconsistent offense to happen. And then they want to put stats in your face. I don't care about stats. We're one and done. That 12-5 record was the worst 12-5 Cowboys I've ever seen in my life because of the inconsistencies on offense. You hold the Chiefs to 19 points. The offense can't score more than 19 points. You're in overtime against the Raiders. Your offense can't score a touchdown in overtime against the Raiders, right? Your defense is holding Cardinals offense very well, right? I can go on and on and on about the inconsistencies of this offense, and it stems from this man right here, Kellen Moore.
No, and that's the key, right? And we've mentioned it a couple of times here already is start out hot but fizzle. It's almost like he doesn't have enough plays in the playbook. You know what I mean? And then they just become stale plays that by the end of the year, it's become predictable again. It's something that's been haunting the Cowboys, and there's a reason for this. He comes from the Garrett Linehan tree, so it's like, these guys just didn't have enough in their playbooks to last a full, you know, 17 plus, games that you need to get to the mountaintop. And to me, this is a big year for him, man. Whatever the hell happens with the team, and then this and that. If it ends up ending like it did last year, I want him out of here. I don't give a crap. Like this for me, he's under the microscope. We talked about, McCarthy, Dak, and Kellen Moore. I think Kellen Moore is probably my number one guy under the electron microscope. Yeah. So Kellen Moore there, guys. So that's our little sneak peek here at the OTAs. Shout out to James Smith, the photographer, getting those pictures and letting us talk about some of these players and some of where this roster is going. As we head into this season. You know what I mean? We're gonna get these OTAs in the bag. Minicamp, you start ratcheting up. You start the installation. And then training camp as well. You start, refining all of these things. So, Mike, this has been a great conversation as far as the OTAs. We'll have more news here to discuss as the OTAs continue this week. We'll hit up, some other, some other takes. But any other takes here before we cut out here tonight, Mike?
No, not to get political or anything, but Texas had a school shooting today. Innocent kids who are my kids' age are now dead to the hands of a gunman. I'm not going to get political in any way. This is streaming on both of our channels. I wouldn't be fair to Joe if I gave any political input, so I won't do that. But my thoughts and prayers are to the family of Texas and to the families that won't get to hug and kiss their kids tonight. I know I am. I hope you guys do too. It just breaks my heart that we live in this world.
Yeah.
And this stuff happens. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional because it's touchy because those kids are my kids' age. And it's upsetting. And like I said, I won't get political, but my prayers are with those families.
Yeah, that's great, Mike. I'm glad you brought that up here. Thoughts and prayers, obviously, to all those, and it's sad that that's kind of become, the trope, as far as like when we have the incidents, thoughts and prayers. So very tragic here in Texas. The Lone Star State is crying their hearts right now. So shout out to everybody, out there in Texas and everybody that has to go through these sorts of things, right? So that's all we have tonight, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in today for our OTA coverage here for the opening days here for OTAs, and I hope you enjoyed it. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already, bro.
Yeah, Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube, _Cowboys Corner on Twitter. This is the Fresco Report every Tuesday, guys.
Yeah, you got it, guys. Guys, make sure you pound that like button on your way out. Continue to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next time for some more inside information for the Dallas Cowboys. Peace, everybody.